Assalamu alaikum and good evening, everyone. We would like to welcome all of you to the information session for Maldives IGF 2026. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce some of IGF members who are joining here with us. Aisha, Afra, Nisha are here with us today, who are joining from IGF side. Aisha, would you like to say a few words before we begin?
Hi everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Hoping to see everyone's support in with this session, and I think let's move forward.
Okay, thank you, Aisha. So the main purpose of today's session is to give everyone an idea of what are the session types that we can host during this year's IGF and how the sessions need to be structured in order to make it more effective during the IGF. So what we'll be covering today is to give an overview of what IGF is about and what are the type of formats of sessions that we have for this IGF and how you can prepare the proposal, and we'll give some of the ideas about how IGF sessions can be created and hosted during this year's IGF session. The Maldives IGF is an extension of the International IGF Forum, which is hosted globally every year. The main purpose of IGF is to create a platform for governments, business, civil society, and tech industry and multi-stakeholders to come together and create a platform where we can share dialogue and in this space of internet governance, this specific area. So this is a platform that we are facilitating so that different stakeholders from various industries and different societies can come together and share a common interest to improve the internet governance within the country, within the region, or what are the challenges that we are facing in this internet governance area. So apart from other conferences, why do we think that internet governance is and this conference is different? One of the main key factors that differs from other conferences is this is an open and transparent platform where which is mostly initiated from the bottom to top approach. So we bring up multi-stakeholders. It can be from civil societies. It can be an individual who want to give an input from a specific professional background. It can be a company or government or public-private sector. So the inclusivity component is one of the main component of IGF, which we want to keep in mind when designing the IGF sessions, is to make it inclusive, not only focusing on a specific topic or area, but try to bring people from different communities or areas when you design the sessions, so that we can get different opinions and different people's ideas when you design the conference. So those are some of the areas. Aisha, if you'd like to jump in and add some points, you're most welcome.
Yeah. As Numa mentioned, it's going to be, I would say, in a short way, if you can say, is like you might not see people in suits here. It's more towards a casual. I would say that an ordinary person can also come and join, and because the internet is a place for everyone. So everyone who use it, who design things with it, and they have a right to say how it should be governed. So in a way that we don't really censor the discussions that especially the participants do. So that's why we call it as one of the thing is bottom up, or it's been a multi-stakeholder one. And another one is like it's a non-commercial event. So mostly it's toward not towards promoting a specific tool, but more towards identifying like what matters most for the people and what are the skills they require. And so when we move forward, there will be many more areas that we can explore. Right, Nima?
And in terms of our audience, I'd like to say that we'll have people from different different sectors. And I think we always welcome. We have registered participants for specific sessions, but everyone or anyone is always welcome to walk into the sessions and walk out of the session if they feel like the sessions are not relevant to them. So it's a very open session format where it's not like where we make it mandatory for people to come and sit while it's not relevant to them. So you any sessions that you want to join can be open to walk in, and if you feel like it's not relevant, you can just walk out and join another session that is running parallel to the during the IGF. So that's why we host sessions parallelly during the IGF sessions for the participants to make sure that they can just join on and contribute to the session that are relevant to them. That's also one of the key areas which makes IGF different from other conferences. You just don't have to sit and listen to the people talk while if you feel like it's not relevant to them, you can just walk out and join a relevant session that's going on during the IGF in another room or in another venue. Maldives IGF 2024
2026 it is.
2026 is going to be held at Villa College, and the date that we have set is on 19th September 2026 this year. So the date and venue has been finalized, and program is we would like contribution from government, private sector, individual, civil society, academia, telecom, youth. Contribution and international organizations will be a part of this year's IGF as well. And 2026, the most important thing that we want to achieve during this year's IGF is to build a stronger bridge between generations where youth can come and contribute to the discussion. Because in the last year's IGF call for action, one of the main things that youth requested was to include their opinion in not specifically in the youth IGF, but bring their opinions in across all the areas. So youth contribution and discussions in all the subject areas are one of the main targets of this year's IGF. And this year's main IGF themes have been finalized into these specific three areas. One is digital trust and safety, AI innovation for everyone, and future ready islands. Then in the Aisha, could you please give a highlight on these digital areas?
Yeah, sure. So this how the themes have come up is like we made a call in on social media and reached out to some of the hosts from last year and identified like what are the areas that we should be considering this year given the situation of the country and the global space. And a lot of people, this was the time like when there was a lot about on digital trust and cybersecurity. So any area related to data, digital rights, cybersecurity, all these and things related to safety, prevention, any sort of that skills can come into this. And another one is AI innovation for everyone. We do see a lot of new startups coming up here in the Maldives as well in this space, and how not only AI, how innovation can be used in this space for especially the local innovation is one of the things that we are considering. Another area is especially last year's IGF and all, they came a lot on language, Divehi language. So how people, the innovators here are taking it up. So that is one of the areas. And of course, the ethics is one area that we should be considering. Other than that, overall usage of AI is one of the things that we would like to see in some of the sessions. And then another one is when we are moving with AI and quantum computing and others that are coming in place, and you need to think about the resilience of a telecom sector as a whole as well. How as a nation or how in the private sector the digital infrastructure is, are we ready for this? So I think a lot of things can come in this area because we are very much focused on climate and environment and how sustainable digital infrastructures and how can we really build a digital more resilient economy that is dependent on tech. So these are very broad three areas. We don't have specific topics topics that is selected for it. I think session host will be free to choose whichever area that most relates to the session topic that you are going to propose. And I think in the website also we have highlighted these areas. So some of the kind of issues, these are just some issues that we think might be relevant, but since you all being in different areas, you might have better topics as well. So one could be digital policy and governance, something could relate to that, and access, inclusion and skills. So if you consider like when AI and innovation are coming up, so how does it impact the access? So could it be a barrier? Could our digital payment systems that we have in place, are we ready with that? Then another one is cybersecurity and resilience, innovation and digital economy, digital rights and privacy, and trusted public services, AI and emerging technology. So, and island connectivity and infrastructure. So these are some of the issues. There will be many more, because the three broad areas that we have is, I think, it covers quite a lot of things. So majorly, these are some examples that we came up with. Yeah. So
And I think Aisha, for the session host, it will be very useful. Previous 2 years reports have been published, and when formulating sessions, if there's any relevant call for actions that were made during previous years, you could have a look at it, and if there has been any progress made from the respective industry or organization that you're hosting the session, if there have been any progress done based on those call for action, those reflections could be a very important part that you could present during this year's IGF session, especially for those organizations or people who have already hosted previous year's IGF sessions. That could be to give a reflection on how the progress has been made based on previous 2 years call for actions that those were made during the IGF. The reports are available in our IGF website. Aisha, if possible, it would be great if you could share a report link here as well. And the important dates, as we highlighted earlier, we have already opened acceptance of topic sessions and proposal through our website. So you could submit the proposals for topics and sessions through our website. Submission deadline for the proposal is up until 20th August. And for participant registrations will be opened on 1st September, and the final event is going to be held on 19th September at Villa College. So we would encourage the session host to, if there are relevant stakeholders that you want to join to your specific sessions, to encourage those stakeholders or organizations to register as participants for sessions as well through our IGF website, so that it will be very easy for us to send out the invitations and everything to the respective participants who want to upfront come and register for the sessions that you're hosting. How can we formulate a session for once your topics are finalized? Then the next step would be to design the session and how the session is going to be structured. So in order to finalize a session, first thing that you need to do is identify the topic and then define what kind of session whether it's going to be. There are different types of sessions that we hold. It could be a panel discussion. Panel discussion is very clear forward. There could be up to 5, I think. Aisha, if I'm not wrong, we allow up to 5 panelists in a panel discussion with a moderator. And for the other type of session types include presentations. Presentations can be based on a specific problem or a solution that you have based on the topic. And the presenter can be more than one person. But for the presentation, the timing constraints are different from the panel discussions. We give 5 minutes for a presentation. Aisha?
Yeah, I think we have a slide coming up as well, a bit more in detail.
Detail, yeah. And the other type of session types are
We will
uh,
have focus group discussions.
group discussions, which are more close discussion that happens with the specific focus group, where you invite people from different sectors, different stakeholders come together and have a discussion on a specific problem. So when hosting these kind of sessions, we leave it up to the session host to identify who are going to be the panelists, and even in the focus group discussion, you could invite people from different industries or areas to come and join the discussions that you have. So one of the main areas to have a clear purpose or a question or a problem which you want to address during a session, and bring in the right people, the right experts that is relevant to this specific topic that you have taken. Let's say if it's regarding AI, you could bring in experts from AI, the people, the end users, the people who will be using AI technologies, the most relevant people who are going to use these technologies, you could invite and try to bring a useful outcome out of that discussion. So it's not going to be a one-way talk, but rather make it a discussion where we can have a problem discussed, what are the solutions, technical people can propose a solution, and the audience, the people who are going to take up the technology or the users of the technology, can give their feedback, what are the challenges that they are facing. So bring people from multiple areas, try to create a dialogue where you can bring fruitful outcome out of the discussion. So that's the main aim of actual sessions in IGF. I think this we have already covered. Aisha, you'd like to
Yeah,
add?
I think you're good, Nima. We
Yeah.
did. Let's go with the next one, right? Okay. This is an exercise for the team who is joining here today. Nima did talk a lot about how to do maybe a focus group discussion previously as well. So in the IGF, previous IGF also, we've had several focus group discussions on different areas. So one of the things that I can highlight is that we did have last year's IGF. One is on how a bit of older people, how they use technology, whether is there a digital divide, and how can people help, how can they actually contribute. So that was the purpose of the discussion. I think there were multiple focus group discussions joining. One of them is like from the banks, there were people, and there were from technical side, there were people, and there were very senior citizens joining, and then talking about things like we as youngsters, we don't like experience those things, but those things comes from them. So in a way, that who designs these digital services, especially the organization, the startups and all, when they don't usually get this sort of feedback. So in a way, they were in a strong one table where they were able to discuss all of it together. And these kind of sessions, it may be helpful for so many people. Here is short exercises that we design. Imagine that you are going to hold a focus group discussion. One is like, this is on AI and innovation, the theme is. So the topic title is Trusted AI Enabled Public Services for Island Communities. So especially this talks about the usage of AI enabled public services within the island communities. Of course, the way that we live here might be very different from people who have not experienced it very well, or who might not have the same infrastructure or access to resources like we have. So the topic is here. So that is a short background of the topic here. So now, as participants, your task is to identify who we can invite to these focus group discussions as people who will sit in the main table and who can contribute to this. If you can unmute the mic, it will be great. But if you are not able to use the mic, you can use the chat as well. So we will take some time for you to think about this. Let's see what are the answers that comes up with. So who you will be inviting for this discussion. So waiting for your responses, everyone. It doesn't have to be people's name. It could be like somebody from the government. It could be somebody from maybe a technical area. That's also fine.
I think we should invite Sia for a hot seat.
For this one, this specific topic. Okay. Okay, public service users. Now if it's coming up. Yes. All right. Let's see. Who else?
I think if it's talking about island communities, some representative from some island councils could give in some idea on how island communities give public services.
Yeah,
That could be one of
that's,
the area.
yeah, youth is also, yeah, of course, youth.
Do we have any councils that are using AI for public services at the moment? Do we know of any?
They might be in the development, right? So we need to find out if there is anyone. So, and the question is, why are they not even using? I think that could also come in, right? Should we be inviting somebody maybe like who is a technical person on who promotes maybe and uses AI so they can have a better understanding during this discussion?
And also, I think to bring some expert in the area would be very important, because if most of the people in the discussion are talking about challenges, someone should be there to address, provide solution for the challenges as well during the discussions, right? So to bring an expert.
Okay, so there are some more answers that like say like one participant have mentioned like an expert who have already applied this in another country. That could be a
Yeah.
great view. I hope Jailam is here. Jailam's name is also here. And then NCIT, MDS, and OneGov, and all, so they can also be part of this. So it could be like this is just a hypothetical example, okay? Like when you think about a focus group discussion, think about like who you can bring in, what kind of expertise you need, and the very right question someone asked, I think Afra, whether anyone is using AI. So it's good to have people who are using AI, and it's also good to see like people who are opposing or who are reluctant to use, so bringing them on board will also be helpful. Yeah, so we have so many options actually to include in here. So this focus group discussion might not even need to happen in the venue itself. It could be a fully online session as well, right, Numa?
Yeah, and it could be hybrid as well. Some of the people who cannot join physically can join the discussion online as well. So can be vice versa. So I think we have had a good discussion on this specific example. We could move forward on the.
Yeah, this is like it's not so these are just some of the areas that we have highlighted: government or a regulator. You can see a technical or cybersecurity person, a person who innovates, or in a private sector person, and somebody who's from the civil society or the community, and the youth or specific user group. So this is how we could formulate. Yeah.
This is what we discussed, the type of sessions and the duration set for each different session type. So mainly panel discussions will be very much restricted for maximum 30 minutes and up to maximum 5 people. Aisha, that's including the moderator.
That's everyone. Yeah, that's everyone sitting in the front. Yeah.
So the session hosts are free to decide who they are going to include in their session. If it's a panel discussion, the panelist and moderator can be, you can decide on who are the relevant people who need to sit in the specific panel discussion that you want to host. Similarly, in focus group discussions, we dedicate a 45 to 60 minutes time because we dedicate this time a little bit more because it goes with a lot of people and a lot of discussions. And of course, in focus group also, we need to keep a moderator. If you're hosting a focus group discussion, keep in mind to keep a moderator just to keep the discussion onto the topic and to control the notion that is being discussed during the session. So if you're hosting a focus group discussion, we don't limit a specific number of people who can join. It can be 10 people from different areas or more, but based on the time range, I think if it's a lot of people, then the discussion times will exceed the 60 minutes. So we haven't actually restricted a limit of people who can join. There could be an audience in the focus group discussion, people who just come and listen to the focus group discussion as well. So people in the audience can prompt question during the focus group discussion and give their opinion as well during the discussion as well. So in workshop, Aisha, we host in online Is
Yeah,
it possible?
usually, yeah, it could be hybrid as well. Just putting into, like, if you want to totally host something online, you could do so as well. So workshop is something like where something gets done. It could be maybe you are teaching them, giving them new knowledge, or giving them new sort of skills. So that could also work. And it is also limited to 60 minutes. But if it is sort of an online one, we might be able to extend the time a little bit. But you could mention that in your proposal as well, so we could see that if we can adjust it to the time. And then there can be an interactive sessions as well, where you could have like short maybe activities. You can even have some sort of, if you develop sort of games, so through that, if you can take kind of people's opinions, ideas, perspectives, so you can be as creative as you want to be. And the other one is the lightning talk. We have, it is for 5 minutes, and we set 2 minutes for question and answers. So by 7 minutes, it should be totally done. And with each lightning talk, we expect all the session hosts to keep that time for questions, because otherwise it becomes one way. And previous years as well, we've had fireside chats and webinars. So this is also allowed. Fireside chats, even if it is online, we want to limit it for 30 minutes, because in IGF this time we are hosting it for a day, and there could be so many sessions going parallelly. So we want to give people the chance to go and explore different areas as well. So that's the reason these time limits exist. So requirements. So one of the thing is session title. Of course, coming up with a good title is one of the ways that you really attract people to your sessions as well. And the format, whether it's going to be online, hybrid, or and then you can also consider the type of sessions and the proposed speakers. Let's say we just did an exercise on how to host a focus group discussion where we don't really know who is going to be there, but we know that these background, the people from these backgrounds are ideal for this topic. So you could try identifying the type based on the background, the skills, or the input they can give. So try to create a persona. It will be very helpful. And then the other one is relevant theme or issue area. So we have 3 themes for this year. So from there you can pick that up. And another one is a session description, maybe a very short overall background why this issue it needs to be discussed here. And then if you have a moderator identified, or if you have any other facilitator identified, you could mention that. And another one is, because you have some interest to solve this issue, that's the reason you are submitting this session. Do think about the expected outcomes. It doesn't need to be a very lengthy outcome, because you cannot have a lot of ideas or everything gets solved, or you try to limit the number of outcomes as well. And then the other one is the stakeholder views. We will be screening all the applications that we get. One of the main area is whether it has multi-stakeholders. Let's say you are hosting a panel discussion and it only has people from the company that you are working for, or this session is hosting. So that means like it doesn't really represent different perspectives. So we might request to change it in a way that it represents multi-stakeholders. So multi-stakeholders means like, as Nima mentioned before, it could be people from different areas as well. You could also consider from with different abilities, a component when you come up with. And Numa mentioned, I think at the beginning also this year as well, we are very much focusing on youth. So do check and see that if you can involve youth here. So some of the main categories are government. It should have a government representation if possible. Of course, a fireside chat cannot have all the representations, but if you do panels, focus group discussions and all, do consider having people from the government, technical community, academia, and youth as well, and civil society. So some of those areas are like main areas that we focus in the global IGF as well as national IGF. So those are some of the things that we have already opened for the proposals. So it's there in the website right now. Even you can submit a proposal. I think this is a bit in written form that we just mentioned, right? let's say you are preparing your proposal, the deadline is coming up, you are not really sure, you are not able to reach even the speakers that you want to include here. Let's say you want a very specific persona, very specific set of people you want to reach. Maybe a CTO from a private company you want to invite, and but you have no means of accessing them. What you could do is in your session proposal, you can mention that you want to include this background or this person, no need to name. So what we can do is when we receive your proposal, you'll be assigned a session manager, so you know who your session manager is. So the session manager's role would be to help identify a person for you as well. So if we don't know it, like if you don't specify it, we will not be able to know, like even if you're looking for one. So we'll try and see like if we can get the exact, if we might not get the exact match, but most relevant person for this. So if you want like the MVIGF to help you with that, we have a team who are volunteering and who are supporting this. So let's see how much we can extend. And also, if you have any question on the proposals and all, like feel free to reach out to your session managers, and then they will be assisting you.
So what happens at the end of the session? As we mentioned earlier, the main objective of conducting this dialogue is to come up with some solutions, or to identify what are the challenges that we have in the thematic areas in context of, especially in context of Maldives. What we do after the IGF, we formulate a report based on main discussion points, speakers, and participant inputs, and everything will be compiled and documented as a session report that which we do every year. And new ideas and fresh perspectives from the dialogues that we do during the sessions will be compiled and shared with the community and the policymakers as well. These reports will be published publicly, and even we do share with other organizations that are relevant to the call for actions that are made during the IGF. So the main impact areas that we are here for is to identify the gaps, opportunities, and what are the collaborative areas in terms of internet governance in the Maldives, but can be improved, and what are the gaps and opportunities that we have for the future years to come, and what are the immediate actions that need to be taken in terms of internet governance to improve the Maldives internet governance. And the other thing is public learning, the wider community access and with it. As we bring people from different communities, different stakeholder organizations joins the discussion, it provides a very different, very transparent platform where everyone can push their opinion upfront, and even the organization who need public feedback can come and get the feedback from the communities that are very relevant to them. For example, if you have a product that's upcoming, if you could get opinion from the respective stakeholder communities on how you can build that solution better or that technology better to the public. So this is the main objective of coming up with a session for IGF, not just to come and present and then go back and just close it, but to make an impact on the community. What need to be done if you're interested in IGF 2026? First, as we discussed today, select your theme, select the format, whether it's going to be a panel discussion, a lightning talk, or a focus group discussion, and so on. So identify who is going to be involved in the discussion, define your topic and outcomes, and submit your proposal latest by 20th August. You could contact us via our secretariat, info@womenintechmaldives.org is the secretariat email. And of course, you can submit online. Any proposals can be submitted online via Maldives IGF and the website as well. Do you have any questions? Or Aisha, do we have?
Okay, yeah. Once your session gets approved, what we usually do is we do try to promote the session across different our channels, and also we would love to share to have your support as well in amplifying this. So usually what we do is just like other conferences. So that's obviously going to be a similarity, where we put the speakers, discussions, and others' photos, and then if you are an organization who is hosting the session, of course, we'll be including your logo too and the respective content, and we'll be sharing it across. So kind of we will do a collab on visibility works for the IGF sessions as well. Okay, that's just to give you a reference on where we have some of the data. Okay, so we are on different channels. One is like if you can scan the QR code, that's our Instagram. So feel free to follow us and see like the updates. And we do put a lot of updates in our Telegram channel as well. And then we have the website. And as previously highlighted, we have our secretariat email info@womenintechmv.org. So all these ways that these are ways that you can reach out to us. And once your session's proposal is received, we will be assigning you a session manager where you can directly communicate with us too on that. And I would also like to highlight this year's IGF is supported by Villa College Internet Governance Forum, the Global UN one, and then Internet Society Foundation, along with Women in Tech serving as the secretariat organization. One of the things that I wanted to say is no need to, if your session proposal is ready even before 20th, feel free to share it so that we can have a quick review and revert and see like if it fits to the format and all.
And I think it's very important to submit the proposals earlier because the timings and slots most of the time we assign on first come first serve basis. So if you submit the last minute, we can't guarantee that we could give specific time spot for your session. So if you submit earlier, you will have that advantage to have flexibility to select a specific timing for the sessions. Because it's going to be one day for this year's IGF, we'll have a specific time restriction for all the sessions. So we have to fit in the sessions on those time slots.
Okay, do you think that sharing this presentation will be helpful for you all? Okay.
Okay, so that's a wrap for today. Thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, Aisha.
Oh, thank you, Nima, for getting this through.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Have a good night. Bye.
Good night, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Bye-bye.